Hundreds of demonstrators took to the streets of Nairobi on Saturday to demand wealthy countries do more to tackle climate change in Africa. Areas of Kenya have been devastated by the worst drought in 40 years, which many are blaming on global warming, and campaigners say industrialized nations should compensate them for their losses.
We need the global north to pay for the damages they are causing. Remember, from the IPCC report, 96% of the emissions are being emitted by the global north. 4% is emitted by the global south. Africa at our position, with only 4%, we are not able to make any great contribution of these emissions. So we are demanding for the global north to pay for the loss and damage.
The march took place as part of the Pan-African Climate Justice Alliance. The youth-based movement holds street marches and protests demanding that wealthier nations pay for the huge damage done to the land of smallholder farmers and pastoralists across Africa.
These disasters and these challenges are not just happening in Kenya, they're happening across the African continent, and this is a continent that has done the least to cause the climate crisis but still continues to bear the biggest brunt. And so we are asking that countries that have contributed the most to this crisis should definitely not abandon these communities on the front line to their fate, but they should step up and fulfill the pledges they've made on climate finance.
In September 2021, almost 3.5 million Kenyans became victims of extreme weather, with the government declaring it a national disaster. In the same period, around 200,000 people were displaced by flooding. Thousands of fans, gamers and cosplayers are taking part in the first Comic-Con Africa event since the pandemic. The 4-day-long convention began on Thursday and is the continent's largest pop culture, fantasy and gaming festival. Some are there just for fun, but others are making statements.
Like I said, the character Neytiri is, for me, an African woman who's very powerful and fighting for her village, for her tribe. You know, people from the outside are coming to try and, take everything from them. So she's trying to fight against that. So that's what I resonate with, just the power and just knowing that you're very strong as an African woman, for me personally.
There are toys and collectibles, along with people in superhero capes, colourful masks, sci-fi costumes and eccentric wigs at the Expo Centre near the FNB Stadium, which hosted the FIFA 2010 World Cup final.
I'm cosplaying Aratak from video game Horizon Zero Dawn, the Frozen Wilds DLC pack. He is the war chief of the Banuk. They're a tribe that the main character of the game, Aloy, sort of assists in a few missions and things. So he's kind of this burly, stoic type character.
Comic-Con also has celebrity meet and greets, including international comic creators signing collectibles, cosplay championships and show specials. There's also KidsCon, South Africa's only child-focused expo festival for families and parents. Two-time Olympic winner Kenyan Eliud Kipchoge has beaten his personal best and set a new world record in Sunday's Berlin Marathon. Crossing the line in just 2 hours, 1 minute and 9 seconds, he shaved 30 seconds off his previous best and said he was in it to win.
I was planning to go to it with a 60-50, 60-40, but all in all, my legs were running actually very fast. And I thought, let me just try to run 2 hours flat. But all in all, I'm happy with the performance.
The 37-year-old from Nandi County in Kenya ran the first half of the race in 59 minutes 51 seconds, prompting speculation he may be the first person officially to break the 2-hour barrier.
Still more, in my legs are still more, and I hope future still great. Yes.
Those legs of yours and your body still feel young.
Absolutely, yes. My mind is still actually thinking wise, still moving, the body actually still absorbing the trainings and racing.
Conditions in the German capital were ideal for a fast race with temperatures around 11 degrees Celsius and no rain or wind. Fellow Kenyan Mark Korir came in second, nearly 5 minutes behind. They were followed by Ethiopian runner Tadu Abate. Ethiopia's Tigist Assefa won the women's race in 2 hours, 15 minutes and 37 seconds. This is a shop with a difference. Everything on display has been recycled from plastic, cardboard or paper waste. They were made by a charity based in Casablanca called Koun, meaning bee in Arabic. They hope to reduce some of the thousands of tons of waste in Morocco which isn't currently recycled. When we walk in the streets, there's waste thrown on the ground everywhere. There are people who are increasingly sick with respiratory diseases. We see that in our seas the amount of plastic waste is increasing more and more. We see more and more fish with plastic straws or plastic bags inside them. The team's sources collects and recycles waste from up to 5 companies. Every day they collect between 100 and 200 kilograms of waste, 60% of which is plastic. And the project is educational too. For the young people who join the centre here, we try to convince them that the plastic waste you see in nature and that you throw away and that has no value, we can convert it here into new materials. This shocks them, and this encourages them to make more creative and beautiful items. In another workshop, shredded paper goes through a special machine. It's held there for a few hours with water to turn it into paste, which is then dried. She says from this paper we can produce several other items such as business cards, boxes and notebooks. We can take from 1 to 2 days for business cards. In 2016, a law banning using, selling, exporting, importing and manufacturing plastic bags came into force, but campaigners say the core of the problem is still single-use plastics. Voters in São Tomé were casting their ballots on Sunday to elect the 55 members of the national assemblies and the mayors of the country's 6 municipalities. In Príncipe, votes are also being cast for the National Assembly and for the government of the autonomous region. The archipelago of 215,000 inhabitants is considered to be a model of parliamentary democracy in Africa. There are 11 political parties and movements contesting the election. And for the first time, a member of parliament will be elected from the African and European constituencies by São Toméans living in 10 countries. The election is being monitored by 100 international observers.